Building your personal brand can be tough, and sometimes you just need a little help, and that's what my next guests offer. It's Alex Derenne and Alexis Hirsig with Real Brokerage, and they developed the Powerhouse Partners, which is kind of a blend of coaching and marketing help in a network of real estate that collaborates rather than competes. It is not a team. And they have some really great tips for using AI, social media marketing, and really understanding how to get your name out to consumers. So enjoy the podcast. So, Alex and Alexis, welcome to the Real Trending podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I want to start by just kind of giving a little background before we get into kind of the Powerhouse Partners. A little background about your journey into real estate. So, Alex, we'll start with you.
Sure. So I've been in real estate going on 5 years now, just about to hit my fifth year anniversary. I, prior to real estate, was in hospitality sales for the Harley-Davidson Museum. And the world of COVID, unfortunately, we stopped having weddings and events and all those good things. So I found myself unemployed and looking for somewhere to land. And I interviewed a successful real estate agent, asked a lot of questions, and thought, I think this is a career path that I could find a footing in, and said, hey, what do I have to lose? And tried it. And 5 years later, here we are.
Great. Alexis?
I love it. So I started in real estate right after college. So I graduated in 2020, and we all know what was going on in 2020, kind of very similar to Alex. So we have very similar stories that align in different ways. And so I graduated college in 2020 and I jumped headfirst into real estate. And I was like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to look back later and at least say I tried it if it doesn't work out. And I built my business on social media. So that's one way. And I really just want to take a different approach with that. But that's kind of what got me started in here to start a relationship-based business.
Okay, and we'll stay with you, Alexis. So I want you to talk a little bit about your kind of the aha moment that led to you forming the Powerhouse Partners together, and like what gap were you aiming to fill with it, and talk a little bit about what the Powerhouse Partners is as well.
Yeah, so the Powerhouse Partners is not a traditional team. We're not a team structure at all. We're a community of agents that have come together to collaborate, feel each other, build each other up, to all help each other's businesses. And everyone runs an individual business. And that's really what the foundation of the Powerhouse Partners is that we want to teach agents value to implement into their businesses so that they can continue to grow. And that aha moment. So I started phase 1 of the Powerhouse Partners a couple years ago, and that was the Powerhouse Collective. And so I kind of took that and then met Alex, and we formed our heads together to put 2 very different brains into one. And that's what launched the Powerhouse Partners. And we really wanted to drive forward with kind of that initiative that we're not a traditional team. We aren't viewed as team leaders, but we're there kind of just steering the ship for the agents and providing them with value, teaching courses, and also enabling our agents to teach courses as well.
Okay, great. And Alex, what have you learned through the whole collaboration?
The collaboration was eye-opening for me. So when I first joined real estate, I did start on a very, it was a team, but I wouldn't call it in any means a traditional team. Similar to the collective method where it was independent agents running alongside of each other, but we did put the messaging out that we were a team. So when I chose to become a solo agent, I outgrew where I thought I needed that team lead support. And now I was an island of one. One woman show, running around, my head cut off. And I unfortunately had to undergo a major hip surgery. And I looked at my business and I said, now what? I'm alone. No one can help me. And thankfully, I had a relationship with Alexis through our chair and co-chair of YPN. And I started to see the value of running alongside of someone in business who has similar goals and ambitions, but not necessarily financially tying myself to them and their success. So the pivot of my brain of, well, there is more than enough business to go around. Why don't we grow alongside of each other and push each other to be better? Because ultimately, the better we are as agents, the better we are for our consumer. And once I shook, the pride of I can do everything by myself, and seeing the value and help from others, that was my aha moment with Alexis of there's something big here, and we just need to dive into what is that correct structure for people similar to us.
And so, Alex, I mean, it's really a mindset shift from, the usual real estate agent, which is competition. You're competing with everyone. You want to win. I mean, obviously, you still want to win, but you really focus on collaboration more than competition. So, Alex, how do you kind of foster that collaboration with the agents in the network?
Absolutely. It is first and foremost breaking down that barrier mindset that everyone in the room is your competition. Are there seldom chances that you may compete on a listing or you may compete for a buyer? Sure. But in the end, is it everyday cutthroat? Probably not. So fostering that environment, Alexis and I both took the approach of pulling down the walls of our businesses and showing the agents within Powerhouse the exact playbooks that we wrote. They're very different from each other. Alexis built a business on social media, as she mentioned, and I've built a sphere-based business. And we decided, why gatekeep the secrets? Everyone is going to do it differently. Even if we wrote the manual, no one will follow it step by step, and there will be their own unique personal spin on the business because it's them and who they are. And that's the coolest thing about the real estate industry is your brand, yourself is your business. We're not adherent to, Nike and all the corporate jargon, right? So that's how we foster and we nurture. We pull down the curtain. We show you the real, the raw, the data, the how we did it. And then we work with those agents to do it their own way, their own spin, to make sure it feels authentically them.
And Alexis, you built your business on social media. So talk to me a little bit about what you think clicked and what really, where was that moment that it really just all started coming together?
Yeah, and I looked at social media in 2020 up here in Milwaukee and just seeing what's out there and trying to see what people were doing. And I just wanted to do things differently because I didn't have a sphere and my sphere is still growing. I would say my roots are always still growing. And it's where Alex and I's businesses differ. And when I turned to social media, I was like, how can I connect with people? How can I have conversations in a time that you can't in person? But I also wanted to show who I am and take that approach. And the clients that I've met through social media have been some of my best clients and turned into my very best friends because it's an instant trust factor in there of, hey, you can see my life, I can see yours. And that's what we teach our agents is that I know that's a topic of conversation that we always get. And that's kind of what fueled all this at the beginning was teaching on social media is, hey, I want to do this. And how do you actually see results from it? Because it's challenging in itself, but being yourself on it and who you are as your brand, you attract a like-minded client. And at the end of the day, we're always going to attract who we want to work with and who you are as a person. And so that's why it's so important to show who you are on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about authenticity, right? I mean, I think a lot of, influencers are, kind of becoming obsolete because people are catching them in their inauthentic self.
Right.
So, really understanding who you are and putting that out there really makes a huge difference. And Alex, for you, how did you build your sphere? Was some of that through your hospitality job?
A bit. So I'm born and raised in the Southeast Wisconsin area. So I do have a vast network of friends and family from prior. I make it a point to be very active out in my community. I go to social events, I engage with people, and I get to know them. So one of my favorite places to meet clients is my gym. I go to group-based fitness classes, and I get to know those people because one, we're having fun. I am competitive in the gym. So I want to, have fun with a little bit of competitive banter and things, but I want to make sure I have a friendship to support that banter. So I've made it a point to get to know people, take them out to coffee. They all have a life and maybe a business I can help support. So my genuine approach to anything sales related is make a friend, make a sale. If you genuinely care about that person on the other side and you actually want to know them, eventually they likely will become your client as well.
Yeah. So Alex, building relationships is so important. And even like Alexis is doing social media, but she's building those relationships online and taking them offline. You're kind of doing the opposite. You're building them in person and keeping them in person. But real estate is all about relationships, obviously. So I love that you both have different tactics for the same goal. It's really interesting. And I wanted to talk to you now. Both of you haven't been in the business for a super long time, but regardless, you really kind of hit that. A lot of agents hit that kind of ceiling in production, and they want to break through to get to that next level. So Alex, what are your recommendations to agents looking to do that? How are you helping them through your network kind of move to the next production level or move to that next niche or whatever it is they're trying to do?
Yeah. So the very first thing I recommend to anybody that says they want to grow their business, scale their business, whatever way that means to them, typically production, is, well, what's the goal, right? We have to have trackable data. If you want to go from 1 million per year in sales to 2 million, or if you want to go from 10 to 40 million, what is that jump? And now let's reverse engineer what that means. How many listings does that mean? How many buyers does that mean? What percentage listing and buyer? So really getting that data down in front of them. And then we set obtainable metrics to that. How many calls are we making? How many Instagram posts? How many open houses? And a lot of the times I find agents don't know the data about themselves, right? We just kind of treat this job as a passive, and we have to be active and aggressive and know what we're targeting in order to be successful. So although it's sometimes that mirror you don't want to look in, Alexis and I have gotten very accustomed to being the tough love mentors of saying, all right, let's treat this like a business, and how are we going to succeed?
And I want to throw something else on there as well. As I look at it too as like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting another result. And if we're doing the same thing over and over, how can you expect to break that ceiling? You have to change it up. You have to implement something different. And you have to look in another direction to try something new so you can keep growing. Because we all don't know everything. I mean, we're all human and we're all still learning every single day. And the key piece of that is just trying something new and putting yourself out there, because that's how you continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alexis, especially being on social media, when we talked a little bit about authenticity and personal branding, how important is that right now? And what are some ways that you're cutting through the noise in the industry to really get your voice out there and, kind of give people a positive vibe about, obviously the market's kind of sucky right now. So,
Yeah, so I think it is authentically being you. And
mhm.
for those who know me in person, it translates onto social media, that they know that I am the exact same person. I'm quirky, I'm funny, and I like to goof around and have a personality. And I try to implement that into my business as well and through social media. And I think they kind of go hand in hand, because looking at social media and then having those relationships in person, like Alex said, and then also having them on social media, you can then translate everything together. So everything kind of comes together cohesively that way. So then that way you know each other and you continue the relationship.
Yeah, and I've talked to several brokers recently who have really been working with their agents on mindset and shifting it and not focusing on what's happening in the market, but just focusing on what they can control and what they can do to get more business. So what are some things that you, and I'll go to Alexis first, what do you recommend to help agents kind of future proof their business as they move along and grow?
As in to like try new things.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of like, I think you have to look at what you enjoy and kind of taking into that. Like if you have a hobby, if you have anything that you enjoy, you need to build your business that way. For people who love to be social, like play pickleball. Like you can meet all kinds of people that way. But if you do something that you don't enjoy, like I don't enjoy cold calling, that's not for me. But somebody to my right could all really love cold calling, that works for them. And I think it's really finding what resonates with you, because then you'll enjoy it and you'll try new things, but you have to enjoy it to do it and hold yourself consistent to do it.
Alex, any thoughts?
Yeah, I echo a lot of what Alexis said. And we also talk to the agents, do something, right? We can all get easily paralyzed by the idea of there's so much to do, right? So we tell our agents, perfect 1 to 2 things. Pick those 2 before you add 3, 4, 5, 6. Master a skill set and then scale that skill set, because eventually you can delegate that out. We're big proponents of business systems because we only have so many hours in the day. So Can you get it into scheduling your social media posts, scheduling a content day? Absolutely. That's easy and that's obtainable. When you're financially sound, can you get into the virtual assistant reality where maybe someone cold calls for you, they schedule your post for you? That's reality too. So it's taking that mindset with the agents of, we're going to get there, but we have to perfect one thing at a time in order to add more.
Yeah. I mean, with AI too, it makes it a lot easier to kind of be more efficient as an agent. Are either of you using that? And Alex, I'll start with you.
I couldn't go a day without using AI. It's integrated in almost every segment of my business. And to those that haven't got on board, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It's absolutely a game changer in productivity and creativity. Sometimes I'll just brain dump my goals into AI and workshop with it. And all of a sudden I have literally last week, Alexis and I started working on a new business model we'd never thought of before. So it unlocks another part of you.
Every day of my life.
So I want to stick with Alex first. I want your top 10 hack or tip that you can share with agents for using it. You kind of talked about the brain dump. That's a good one. Give me another tip.
Yeah, so brain dumping is a great one to definitely evolve another part of your brain. But as far as social media scheduling and social media creation, you can train your AI to talk like you, come up with topics that fit your niche. We talk about at Powerhouse all the time. You should know your ideal avatar of a client. What do they look like? What do they do for a living? What's their age dynamic? XYZ. Tailor that social media to them, and you can have 100 captions in a matter of 15 minutes of bantering back and forth with AI. So absolutely, for those that want to get in the more the social media side, AI is a game changer.
Yeah. And Alexis, tell me how you're using it and, some tips that you have as well.
Yeah, I am using it every day of my life. Alex and I are equally that way. But it increases efficiency like no other. And like Alex said, like if you haven't started using it, I don't know what you're waiting for, because it really can do so much for you, but you still edit it and make your own. So it's not like it's taking over your life. It's not taking over the business by any means. It's just making you more efficient. And a big way, social media captions is a huge way. So there's no reason that we can't be posting on social media because it's literally doing it for you. Emails all the time, campaigns, putting those together. But I think the big piece is email, because we've all had those emails that we get every once in a while. Like, oh, could you help me soften that one up just a little bit? We've all used it for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've used it for that too. So definitely. And so both of you are leaders. I mean, you've started this Powerhouse Partners. What was maybe, Alex, I'll start with you. What was the biggest kind of leadership lesson that you learned during this whole process?
So we're still in our infancy stages. Powerhouse Partners has only been opened for 4 months, and we're fortunate for all the success it's had. I think for me personally, the biggest leadership hurdle is not over parenting, right? Everyone's their own independent business owner, and they need to have a little bit of that sink or swim mentality, or if you're from the 90s like me, the love and logic that our parents were taught. I will never forget that. But let them make their mistakes, let them learn, be there to support them and everything. But I'm not a parent at this point in my life, but any parent knows your kids are only going to learn through experience. So for me, it's a little difficult to let it happen, but seeing the learning and the enjoyment as they do let it happen has been really rewarding.
Great. Alexis?
Yeah, I think for me, it's that you can't force somebody to want it. Either they want it for themselves or they don't, and they're in full control of their businesses and how they want to take it. And we all have a different definition of success, and I've said that forever. And we're all going to take it in the direction that we want to. And if maybe 30 deals for somebody a year is mega success, but maybe 5 is for somebody else, and that's okay. So that's how I kind of view this business.
Yeah, and that's a hard one to kind of accept as a leader too, because you want everybody to want it most, want it more, want it more, want it more. And the truth is they want to just do really, really good at less. So it is a lesson to learn for sure. I want to talk a little bit about trends in real estate right now. Alex, what are you seeing out there as far as trends in the industry, not necessarily the housing market itself, but actual industry trends that you're seeing, agents adopt or affecting your business in a positive way or negative way? It could be either.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest industry trends is no secret. It's we are all becoming marketing firms, right? We're
Hmm.
social media influencers, excuse me. We
Hmm.
are YouTube channels. We are marketing. The world of real estate has changed. The consumer
Hmm.
needs to know us through video, through presence. And if we are not there, standing above the rest, your business will not succeed. So it's diving into the world of social media, the world of video content creation is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Hmm.
So it's for what I'm predicting, and I'm sure many would agree, those agents that are taking that time to hone in on that skill set, those will stay successful as we go through the ups and downs of the markets.
Alexis, what are some of the trends that you're seeing out there today that are affecting the your real estate practice, or you're seeing implemented by top producing agents, or just maybe consumer trends that you're seeing that are impacting your business?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick on the social media train because I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of property tours going on, and it's a great way for agents to be able to share themselves, share listings, and kind of sometimes you can put a little bit of humor into it because I've seen those on social media all the time. Like I know that there's an agent specifically that is in Illinois that I've seen, but puts a lot of humor into it, and you can make it your own. And I think that's one thing in the industry of being able to kind of showcase who you are, but also tying real estate in at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like really it's even on the brokerage level, there's a focus on consumers more so than there ever has been. It's always been a focus on consumers that in a way that will help your agents reach them, do business with them. But now a lot of tools and products and services are being built around kind of serving the consumer. Like you say, you're going direct to them with the social media, with the the meeting them at classes, things like that. But it's really kind of changing the way business is done, in that the actual brokerage is deciding, okay, we have to cater to consumers, not just agents. Have you noticed that at all? And Alexis, I'll start with you.
Yeah, in terms of the brokerage targeting clients themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're also looking at it from another angle of, hey, we are attracting from the brand, and then that's more brand recognition for our agents.
Hmm.
Because you can also tie it back to it, because I know there's very, very reputable brands out there that people know, and
Hmm.
that then creates consistency with the brand for the agent of who they're brokered with.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alex, what is your ultimate goal with Powerhouse Partners? What do you envision it turning into?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off your last question and go into that a little bit because
Okay.
they go hand in hand. So
Uh-huh.
I think what we're seeing this huge shift of brokerages focusing on the consumer, right? We
Hmm.
have our brick and mortars, our generational brokerages that have been around for a long time, right? And their brand recognition is huge, and consumers just recognize those as the only options. Now we're in this era of cloud based, and the brokerage doesn't necessarily mean and carry as much weight as it once did.
Right.
Rather, the brokerage and the agents are changing the dynamic to be about the consumer, and we're seeing everything marketed towards the consumer and less about the brokerage.
Right.
So Powerhouse, the goal of Powerhouse is we are a marketing launch pad for agents.
Hmm.
As we've said a few times in the chat here, we're not a team. We don't take
Hmm.
team splits, and we're not team leaders. But what we are giving agents is a brand they can use to build their own consumer focused business, with a little bit of recognition, taking some of that overhead of getting logos and signs and those sorts of things, and letting our agents really focus on building a business consumer forward. So our goal is to hopefully be within all 50 states within the next 5 years. Right now, Alexis and I are on a mission to find similar brained individuals to collaborate with, just like ourselves, to be state leaders who want to grow a powerhouse network in their own state, see the value of collaborating over competing, see the value in pulling down industry secrets, because in the end, we're just trying to educate agents to be the best for the consumer. We won't go down a rabbit hole, but if we all were the best for the consumer, maybe these NAR historical lawsuits that we just went through wouldn't have happened, right? The goal is, let's all be the best we can be for the consumer. And that's what Powerhouse is trying to do with putting business into the hands of real estate agents.
Great. Alexis, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's creating that platform for agents to basically have a launch pad, because when you all come together and you can all network and you can have those conversations to build your business, it's only going to increase just more better trust with your clients and better service for your clients, because you're getting ideas and you're getting perspectives from all over the place. And that's really one of the big principles of forming the Powerhouse Partners, is to be able to have that, just to continue to all grow and use Launchpad. And like Alex said, it's our goal in the next 5 years to be in all 50 states. It's kind of what we're looking to do, to kind of help grow and make this more of a national scale.
Well, Alex and Alexis, I wish you much luck. I think it's a great idea. And I hope that you're uber successful with it. Thanks so much for joining RealTrending.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracey.